Hi, thanks so much for watching. So I thought it was time for a driving video. I haven't done many of them lately. There's been kind of trouble with cameras and stuff. I think we might get away with this one though. So we'll go up to the main road and we will go for a spin. In this video, a pick a card reading coming up. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. So we're going to do a 5-card pick a card spread, and this is a bit of a mad one because we are using the Sirian Starseed Tarot. This is like the biggest tarot deck in the world, certainly the biggest one I've ever seen. The size of the card compared to my hand. So I've laid them out slightly differently so they wouldn't all fit in the camera. So okay, let's get down to it. Let's take a look. So here we go, the Sirian Starseed Tarot, and because I couldn't get them in a line, and I certainly couldn't get them in a horseshoe and still fit it in, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this one here is going to be our Heart of the Matter card. Now then, guys, you can pick a card or you can pick all 5. It's entirely up to you. And we will do something with this amazing deck. But do pick something now, okay, before you get to know what they are. Be your own psychic. You can do it. You know this by now if you've been watching for any length of time. If you're new, guys, please hit the subscribe button because there's more readings coming all the time, one way or another. Many different decks, many different ways of doing readings. That's how we roll on the Twig Brother channel. Okay, so with that, let's turn over card number 1. And it's the Seeker of Crystals. Let me bring that up a little bit closer to the lens so you can have a look. And here we have this very cosmic, very spiritual looking character gazing into a crystal ball there. Now, the Seekers in this deck are really people who are sort of all about waking up to the wonders of spirit. You know, that's really what gets all of us seeking in our spiritual journey. And if you're not really trying to seek anything, you're not really going to get anywhere. But I don't think I need to tell you that, because if you're interested in the tarot at all, then you are most certainly seeking something, I'm sure. The Seeker is about reaching out, searching for more, basically. We know what we see in front of us. Anyone can hold up a crystal ball like this and see it there, but it's really looking deeper into it, really looking for a depth of understanding. It's not really about anything in the physical world, but it's more about, you know, just discovering the beauty that is actually around the physical world all the time, but that we don't usually get any real information about with our everyday eyes and our everyday ears. You know, this is the sixth sense. This is what it's all about. But the Seeker is, as well as being kind of spiritually minded, the Seeker needs a certain amount of guidance along the path. There is some immaturity in this. It's a bit like a page card in a lot of ways, actually. Sort of childlike wonder and innocence, that kind of thing. But there is room for growth. That's really what it's all about. Now, the crystals in this deck are essentially the pentacles. So in some ways, what we're looking at here is the Page of Pentacles in the more traditional way. But, you know, this deck is a deck in its own right, and I'm sure there are spiritual reasons why this deck came about, and lots of meaning behind what it's all about. But this is the Pentacles, so it's the earth energy, really. And so it's all about grounding, I guess, as much as anything. Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn are the star signs associated with this card. So that's card number 1. Let's move on to card number 2, which is going to be this one. I'll bring it up so you can see it, because they're all a little bit too far away from the camera. It's the only way I could do it today. This is indigo, and we're looking at an indigo child here. Now, a lot of people are quite cynical about the existence of indigo children. I'm absolutely personally sure that they are very much for real. What sometimes happens is you get a child who isn't an indigo, but is really hard work, and the parents will say, well, this is an indigo child. We can't control this child. It's an indigo. And that's really not what it's all about. But there are indigo children. And the chances are you watching this might have been an indigo child. You might be an indigo child now. Who knows? Rainbows going off all over the place and very much all about light. The only reason I'm cynical about some indigo children maybe not being indigo children is that it's a shame if this wonderful energy gets a bad name, or, you know, I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of people who've been in contact with so-called indigo children just kind of don't really believe that that energy is real, that energy can take them anywhere. But it really can. Now, this is number 1 in the major arcana. So essentially, it's the magician in the traditional tarot meanings. So if you pick this card, you've certainly got the tools you need to make the spiritual journey. We've got this lovely crystal down here, and they are perhaps the most most powerful spiritual tools that there are, actually. You know, you can look at wands, you can look at athanis, you can look at all kinds of things, but just about any magic tool will have a crystal involved with it somewhere. There'll either be a crystal built into it, or there'll have been a crystal used by the person who was channeling whatever energy came in that gave them the inspiration to create that magic tool. So I'm thinking of the magician's tools. You know, you do have all the tools you need for the journey if you pick this card, the Indigo card. In this child's hands, he's holding a perfectly faceted quartz crystal, you know, a lens to another world, in other words, and like so many crystals, quartz is a great all-rounder, and that's the significance of it here, you know. You can use quartz for just about anything you can use any other crystal for. Because it magnifies energy, basically. It stores it, it transmits it as well, and it does so in conjunction with the physical human presence, you know. Crystals work with us, and crystals can be very expensive, but let's never forget, friends, we live on the earth, and the earth is a giant crystal. There are deposits down there in the earth of crystals that will never ever be found by human beings or anybody else, but they're there in the earth, and they're working for us all the time. I used to keep quiet about that when I worked in a crystal shop, but there it is, it's the truth, and I'm telling you. So number 2, the Indigo Child, the Magician. It's number 1 in the major arcana. So we've gone from being a seeker to actually taking some practical steps along the journey. All right, so that brings us to card number 3. This is going to be the heart of the matter. Did you pick card number 3, friends? Let me know which cards you picked down in the description below. Actually, it's always good to know that, and it helps us sort of zero in on each other's energy, and it gets our spirit guides working together, which is another big part of the picture. Now, this is the Master of Flames. Let me bring him up closer there. The Master of Flames. And very Native American kind of energy about this character here. Some South American influences as well there, but up above there is the sun and the clouds, and the sun is really painting the clouds beautifully, and that is a spiritual energy that everyone can tap into. You could say the Master of Flames is the King of Wands, basically. The suit of flames in the Sirian Starseed deck that we're using here is actually, it's about the element of fire, you know, so it ties in with the suit of wands, which is all about getting things done. It's the creative fire that actually makes things happen. So if you pick this card, then you'll go in places, and I would say this whole spread is all about where we're going. And if you're watching this today, we have actually just gone through Lionsgate, because this is the 9th of August. Yesterday we went through Lionsgate with the amazing new moon in Leo. So we are definitely going places, and there is a lot of energy behind us. The signs associated with this card would be Leo, Sagittarius and Aries. And the message here really is that as we are like sparks of the divine light, and we do all have a spark of the divine within us, we already understand the significance of this element, I guess, because it's actually part of our world. It's a very earthy thing. And the Master, being the King of Wands, or the King of the Flames here, really, is as much about a figure of authority in your life as the person who wants this reading, as it is about that aspect of you within yourself. You know, we do all have it within us to lead ourselves. Not everyone is a natural born leader of lots of different people, but we do all have it within ourselves to lead ourselves, and that really is not just the tarot journey, but the spiritual journey, looking for that self-mastery. That's what actually carries us forward. That's what makes a difference to our lives as we go forward. And going forward is all about finding ways to understand all these amazing energies, really. Now, the Master has understood them, really, and so this is all about the part of you that has taken things in, that has understood things, and that sounds like completion in itself, doesn't it? But we're only halfway through the spread here, and this is the point. You need to reach that stage of understanding what's going on within you to be able to go further. And friends, I would suggest you probably know yourselves better than you think you do. And when you really contemplate that, how could anyone possibly know you better than you know yourself? Really, think about that one. There's a lot of mastery here around the yin-yang harmony in spirit, you know, the nature of love, the way different forces come together and work together. It's always a kind of love, whether that's, you know, a human romantic relationship, loving your cat, or just, you know, some stage of your life where you get on well with either other people in it or maybe with the job you do. When people are doing a job they love, you get that yin and yang synergy coming in and making things work. So there is card number 3, friends. What have we got for card number 4? That's what I'm wondering now. This is kind of the short-term future. This is the way forward from the heart of the matter at number 3. Oh, right, now here we have the 3 of orbs, and there's a real bolt of lightning coming down there to make things happen. And once you've got the magician thing sorted out, and you've got the tools you need, and you've got this mastery, then your whole idea of seeking out new knowledge through the crystals is actually going to get a spark of light like we see here, and things are going to start, you know, happening for real. That's what it's about. This is where it becomes real. The orbs represent the element of air, so really they're the suit of swords, so lots of decision making always involved with the swords. What we've got here is 3 orbs. They've come together. It's very, very stormy, but the sun is coming through the horizon, and the sun sort of represents understanding, I guess, but it's also the clarity you get when you face up to the decisions that you have to make in this life. And you know, we all have to make decisions all the time, don't we? But the spiritual decisions about what path we're going to follow, where we're actually going to be headed with our spiritual intentions, that is a real important thing to get the decisions made about. And those decisions bring together these 3 orbs and everything they represent. And clarity is just never far away once you get to, once you get here, I suppose, you know, because this is where clarity is formed, really, in the furnace, you might say, because he's the master of flames. It kind of burns things and it forges all these disparate ideas together into a sword. So essentially the 3 of swords here, this very often represents some kind of bereavement or some kind of tragedy in life. And if that's you, friends, I'm, you know, very sorry you've been through that. Having said that, though, you know, it's the tragedies that really make us think, and they're never a good thing. They're really never a good thing, but they do bring positive change. For example, there are fires raging all over the world at the moment, and this is August 2021 at the moment. Big fires in California, fires starting to happen in Europe. We've had floods in Europe, tragedies basically everywhere you look at the moment. But even though nothing's been really sorted out yet, you just know that we're going to find new ways of preventing tragedies in the future, and that somehow life is going to be better after we've gone through all of these different transitions. And transition is really what it's all about. So there's the 3 of orbs. The clarity is coming in. This is our short-term future. The clarity is coming in. We just know things are going to get better. Now then, what is this card going to be? Maybe it's going to make me look foolish. Who knows? Let's turn it over. All right, 5 of flames. So we're in that flame energy again. Right, the fire sign energy. Basically the suit of wands. So essentially this is the 5 of wands. So we're on that wands journey, and this is showing that we're actually making good progress here. You know, in terms of numerology, 10 would be completion and 5 would be sort of halfway there. So exactly, you know, why are we focusing on being halfway through the journey here? Well, you know, the journey is never really complete in this life. So this is going to mean something to all of us in one way or another. Unfortunately, you know, when you get some success, and you know, this is showing that there is some success out there, quite a lot of success actually. And whenever you get success, someone's going to be jealous about it. That can create kind of crazy competition from elements that don't really care whether they win or not. They just want to beat you, basically. And isn't that just the nature of the spiritual life? People just love to try and prove to us that actually we're all crazy. There's a story about an explorer in the 19th century who went to an island, and the people there believed that there was no death. very aptly, I think, because I'm sure there isn't. You know, what we see as physical death is really just a soul going to the other side of life where we can't see or hear them with our everyday eyes and ears anymore. And this island race of people believed that when their relatives died, they actually went to live on another island a bit further down the coast. And this island was a bit too far for them to actually go and visit because there was just too much sea in the way. And these were a primitive people that they didn't have the best boats. So this explorer decided, well, you know, I'll let them know the truth. And he thought it was so important to stop these people believing in the afterlife that he had a much bigger boat that he'd sailed, you know, many thousands of miles across the ocean to get to this island to explore it. So he got them all on his ship and he took them to this island and showed them that their loved ones weren't actually there. What an absolute idiot, absolutely crazy. And this is the kind of competition we get, you know. But the thing to do is consider how your personal creative expression can have potential, you know, can actually be the fuel to the fire of further creativity. Again, and it's sat right next to the Master of Flames here, but this is number 5. It is our outcome card. We are actually looking at a lot of mastery, I suppose. You wouldn't have got there without that mastery. It seems to be a step back from essentially the King of Wands. The King of Swords. No, sorry, it is the King of Wands. I get so confused with this. This is the Suit of Wands. It really is. But you know, you just got to sort of trust your own creative process because it is a creative thing and you just do have to be your own leader, really. That's what took me back to the Master of Flames. You need to be your own leader to really get that energy to the Ten of Flames where it all comes together in a sense of completion, if you know what I mean. So we are definitely on quite a big journey as we look at this. We've gone from Seeker of Crystals right at the very beginning of it, right through to Five of Flames, where we haven't got there yet, but we've got the mastery, we've got the indigo energy, we've got the Three of Orbs, sort of bringing clarity in, really. And it always takes a bit of storminess to get that clarity. And there we go, 5 torches lit. It's good news. All we need is the other 5. And they're sure to be coming, really, because as long as you follow the spiritual path, you'll always be getting closer and closer to that goal. So there is our 5-card spread. And I certainly hope you found that one helpful. I really enjoyed that. You'll have to excuse my unfamiliarity with the Sirian Starseed Tarot. I don't often use it in videos because the cards are just so big it's hard to get them into the camera frame. I guess I could do a 3-card pick a card, but we seem to like 5-card picker cards on this channel, and you know, what you like is certainly a big part of my guiding light as I do this. So do leave me a comment down in the comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think. It's always good to share the journey, and it's always good for me to, you know what you enjoy, know what you like. Hope you enjoyed the driving part today as well. Kind of difficult to edit, but I think I got there in the end. Let's just hope it doesn't kind of freeze like it has done in the past. But there we are, a nice drive through the green, should have been good. If you'd like a private reading, my Gmail address is down there in the description under this video where it says see more, or where there's an arrow pointing down. Hit that arrow and it will open up and you will see my Gmail address. Also my coffee.com page, and on that coffee page there are various pictures of whatever's going on in my life at the moment. Not too many just at the moment because it's raining constantly, but I try and get the garden in there whenever I can and whenever the camera isn't going to get wet and sort of ruin my whole YouTube mission. So check out the coffee page, coffee.com/twig. There's also my PayPal link there, and your support is always very gratefully received. And big thanks to all of you who've already contributed, because you really make all the difference, you really do. That is paypal.me/twigbrother. I remembered it in the end. Okay then, so we'll call it a day there. Do stay tuned, do drop a like on this. if you've enjoyed it, and do hit the subscribe button, because then you will get notifications of my future videos that are coming up, including the live sessions. We do live streams 3 times a week. We've got wonderful moderators, wonderful energy in the chat, and the live streams allow you to come into the chat, ask for a card, and I will pull a card for you and give you a little one-to-one reading to the best of my ability. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. That way you know you're staying tuned, and it's so important to stay tuned to YouTubers that you really enjoy. So hit that subscribe button. Take good care of yourselves, friends, and I'll see you again very soon in the future video, and there will be many. Love to you, light to you, blessings to you, and of course, peace.